Good morning. I'm John Zidar on behalf of PV Alerts, giving you the alerts you want, but the training you need. I'm John Zidar. This is something unique. We're breaking up the MOMO show. This is just after 10 o'clock. The stocks we chose yesterday to continue running this morning because they were running up and then bing, the bell went off and they stopped right in the middle of a run. So we figured it was going to continue running this morning. We generated a list of 4 or 5 stocks yesterday. We're going to take a look at them right now. All right, let's jump into it and see what we did today. All right, we do all of this scanning, charting, screening on Thinkorswim trading platform. This is what I use. It's absolutely free from TD Ameritrade. Just sign up for the account. It's free too. All right, here's our list that we generated yesterday. Now, I added one more to it just for my own personal reasons. TBPMF, which is Tetra Biopharm. Actually, it's my retirement stock. I am not kidding. This company is from Canada, and I'm only going to touch the one big thing that's going on. They have an FDA head-to-head drug trial right now with a drug that they created that is stronger than opioids. All of the morphines, the Percocets, all of these drugs, it's stronger and works in just minutes. Takes your pain away, the worst pain possible. They're testing it on cancer pain, and you inhale it, and in less than 90 seconds, 2 minutes, your pain is gone. No addictions. There are no side effects, and you can take it as often as you like. This was supposed to be done a couple weeks ago. The stock is at like 25 cents right now, and cross my heart, the only company that can compare to it is at $240 right now. We expect this to go over to $300. I expect it to hit $10 before the end of the year. Absolutely. Anyways, I've got that up there. All right, looking at the stocks that we looked at yesterday, we are looking for stocks that surged from yesterday. So I've got our 5-minute chart over here. This is how we look at it in the evening, how I judge it, because I look at the 2 last columns here. Over here, we are on the 1 minute. Let's get rid of the trades. And this is how I look at it when I am trading in the morning. This quick play, I want to see every bounce. So I need to know what's going on. All right, so that was today and that was yesterday. Okay, so right there. Okay, so you can see from the start of the day, we were looking at this, and if I back up just a wee bit so you can see there's a large spike of volume here. It had been going very gentle all day, and then boom, and it pushed it up and it hit a high. So this looked good to us. It was just coming over on the crossover, and the RSI was a bit low, and we expected this to climb. Well, it did climb. We got the, let me get this set up over here, folks. We are on the wrong color. There, I knew those charts did not look right. So you can see that volume in the last couple of minutes, and she ended up here, but she fell, she dipped in the morning, came across, and then she has shot up. And she didn't start shooting up until about 8 minutes till 10. So this is one of those bounce plays. This is an entirely different play, and I may tweak our morning play. That first minute, this first minute seems to be more like a temperature gauge moment. If you wait 1 minute for the bounce, it's like when that bell rings, open the oven door. Put your thermometer in and then look, see what all the technicals are doing, see where the price is going, and take a gauge, a temperature gauge at first minute, and then maybe the second minute, because there seems to be a lot of 1 minute bounces that are recovering, and the second minute could be just that important. 1 minute to be able to think without totally freaking out. So this would not have bounced up on our list. We would not have seen this if you were waiting to get in after the bell. And if you got in before the bell, well, hopefully you had some DD in your pocket and felt comfortable and rolled this up. And it's still going up. All right, the next one we're going to take a look at is NEWH. Looking at the 5-minute yesterday, it had a lot of volume. As a matter of fact, this was my favorite play. I really, really like this one. Now, if you weren't with us, you're saying, but it's falling. You want green surge going out. Yes, I do. You can't see it here, but there was a high bubble here. And a high bubble, in my opinion, now I know there's no such thing as never and always, but I swear to you, this always drops when there's a high bubble. So this is normal. It is expected. So everything happened as I expected. So I expected it to continue rising. And if you look over here, you can see it did. It still is rising. Now, how did it come out of the gate? All right. So she closed down here. She took the dip I expected her to take, and I was hoping yesterday that got the dip out of the way and she'd get back to climbing. And that's exactly what happened. In the first minute, she jumped up to 0.028. So the play on this, it closed, right? It had no pre-market or aftermarket activity. So the price never changed. So you see it. It looks like it's going to open at 0.27, but we know it's not because we froze time. So if you draw a line, you know it's going to be further up. So I always just go a little bit over. This one was at 2.6. I may have come in at 2.8 or 2.9. You got to be at least 2. You just can't be one notch over it because, and here's the reason, folks, the surge yesterday, when it stopped, there were shares that wanted to be bought, but the bell stopped those buyers from getting their shares. They still want their shares. Those shares are in a queue and they're going to be purchased in the morning. So as soon as the bell goes off, their shares from yesterday are the first shares to be bought and they're pushing the price up. So you come in and you say, well, I'm going to go 3 notches up. So I'm going to go from 2.6 to 2.9 and I'm going to put my bid in up here. Let me get my money line right there. So your bid is here. This is where it closed. So between here and there, you need the price to stay in the first minute. And wherever it stops, that's the price you end up paying. But put in that higher price so that it runs into you and you grab it rather than trying to grab the tail end of it as it's running away from you. So this would have been a great play this morning. Let's get rid of all these bad boys. And 10 o'clock, if you were riding this up, because this just kept climbing. It hit its high here at, that is 13 minutes to 10. It hit a high and it started dipping. Now, we're still in the middle of the dip, I think. Let me see. Yeah, okay. So I would have probably got out. Now, there's a sideways. That didn't bother me. There's a dip, but it recovered. One dip, recovered. One dip, second dip. I get out on the second dip. So right there is probably where I would have got out of this. What time is it there? 6:54. That's 10:54. My computer's behind. It's on California time. So 6 minutes to, I seen this dropping. I had my 2 bars. That's how I get out on 2 bars. So I have 3 ways I get out of these stocks. One is if it starts to fall. Not dip. Dips are okay. I expect it to dip and I'm riding the dips. But if it starts to fall, I'm out. It's a very short play. I don't have time for it to recover. So if it starts to fall at any time during the play, more than 2 drops down, I'm out of there. The second rule is that timeline. I get out at 10 o'clock to 10:05. Right there. I am not getting out any later. Why? Because at 10 o'clock, there seems to be a dip across the market, or at least a change of direction. And rather than go through that decisive part, I get out. So 10 o'clock is my second rule. And my third rule, which is the best rule, is I get out at 20% or more gains. Now, I'm shooting for 20%. You play with $500, that's $100 you made. But of course, I'd like more. Many days, I only get 50%. And this week would have been a whole $50. $50, not 50%. $50, only 10%, which is really sad. Normally on a regular days, I'm making over $100 because the first few minutes there are jumps that go up to 100%. They just rip. And when they rip, I hit that button quick and I just grab what I can grab. It's over 20. I see 70. I see 80. So I grab it. I don't get greedy. Take the money and run. And if I hit it at 80, Well, it was moving fast. It may have started even falling, and it fell down to 61 or 53%, and that's what I got. Sell on market. Always, always, always sell on market. You got to grab the price. You can't catch it. You can only grab it. So put in a market order, and as the price is moving, it'll come by and grab you. All right. Those are my 3 rules. Let's get on to the next stock here, INQD. INQD yesterday finished with a huge surge. Back out so we can get a wee bit more look at that. The volume wasn't anything great, and normally when you see low volume on a huge surge, it means only 1 or 2 or 3 sales were made at a huge price. Not a lot of people were interested, just a couple people, and you want a lot of people interested. So by all rights, we should have seen a larger volume on top of this green to make that look like a positive green. Because as soon as it jumped, you had your profit takers come in and take some money. But again, here we go. This is one of those temperature gauge, right? It opened up here. Give it 1 minute. Boom. Now this we wouldn't have got into today because it never showed up at the list. It fell all the way down here, and then the next minute it fell. Now I don't know. That's the second minute. It looks bad. 1 drop, 2 drops. I'm not interested. But look at that bottom line there. This is the 5 minute. The 200 is coming down and turning right now to come back up. And this doesn't turn on a dime. The 200 is like a big ship. It needs room to turn. So you can see it's turning right here. It is coming up. So even though it took a dip, it tested that line. You see it right there? It hit it. The likelihood of that bouncing back was strong. It was strong, and as soon as you seen all this volume come in, that was the token sign. We had a turn up. We had a jump up on the RSI. This was already showing an indication that it was going to do that. Your signs down here verified it. There you go. She has been climbing all day from that first minute bounce. But for the MOMO play, getting out or not getting in if it's not at the top, this didn't cut it. ILS. I think ILS was a good one yesterday. Let's take a look. Yeah, she had some good steady climb and then a big bounce and looked good on the technical. She was right under the 70 ISI, which is where I like to be. So looking at the 1 minute, how she happened to play her day out, soon as it opened, it took a jump. Now we are on the 1 minute. So it went all the way up here. Had you tried to buy in the first minute, this is at 10.5. This up here is 10.7. Boy. Chances are, if you'd have put in your bid higher, you'd have grabbed this and it would have fallen very quickly. And I can see it's had a lot of strong volume. Its MACD is falling, but the price isn't. And this is still coming up. Now, normally why this is, you see this 10 got way far away from the 200. The bottom blue and the top blue. They stretch too far apart. It's like a rubber band and it has to come back. So there's only 2 ways that happens. You either bring the price back down to the 200. That'll bring the 10 down. We don't want that. Or the 10 hangs around up here at the top waiting for the 200 to come meet it. And when the 2 meet, then in many cases, it'll then continue to climb. And that keeps it from getting too far spread. You can't have these 2 spread too far. They have to come back just like a rubber band. That's exactly how it works. So this was not a great play for today, and it could have been a problem. So adding that 1 minute temperature gauge could be a very smart move. VIZC. Let's take a look at what we saw yesterday. Volume climb. This was the very first one we looked at. I remember the 2 ticks that I like to look at were both up. The volume was up. The MACD was climbing in both sessions, and the RSI was going up. So this looked good to me. And again, we have the 200 SMA, simple moving average, turning up here. So it looks, and we had a peekaboo at it, so it looks like this should climb. Coming over here to the minute, let's see how the day opened. Ooh, gonna have to bring that down a bit. All right, that's as far as it goes. This is where it closed, and it opened right at it First minute it fell, second minute it fell, third minute it went over. This probably wouldn't have been good for a bounce play, and we darn sure didn't get in because it had no rise from the bell. All right, the very last one was one of my favorites. This was MJWL, and it did start the day at the top of the list today. So this is what we had yesterday. You can see why it looks like a favorite. There was constant climb and then a solid jump, right? I mean, we got to see. Did we see that? No, we didn't. I take that back. That is this morning that came in. So we saw all that, but we did see that giant volume on top of the green, just like I said I like to see. Everything is pointed up. Everything was riding up. We had a small spike here, and we were in fire. Look at all that red. So, what happened? This morning it jumped up. We had that pre-market way the heck up there. Look at that. What a jump. That was definitely, we would have saw that this morning, which I did. And I knew a jump that big was probably going to fall. There was just too much air up there. And it did. Pow. Just came back to normal. Everybody was dizzy shaking it off, and then it's fallen. So this was a tricky play. However, at the bell, it fell, did not come up at the top of the list, so we would not have gotten in this one either. I do believe that's all of them. Yes, it is. All right, folks, that covers our round of what we picked yesterday on September 1st to play on September 2nd. It's about 10:28 in the morning. We're going to get this put up, and I will see you after the bell with our picks for tomorrow, September 3rd. Good luck today. Watch the charts.